Thank you. Okay, so welcome to our introductory data analytics training. For the next 8 weeks, we'll be applying the skills we'll be learning in this training. So at the end of the program, everybody will work on a project. We'll be given a data set. We'll group us into different groups where we work collaboratively. And then the project proposal will be there and what you are required to do. So different data sets will be given and we'll work on those projects. So you see them, you apply these skills in real life, depending on the data sets you'll be analyzing. But let's have an introduction of what data analytics is. So what is data analytics? And data analytics is the process of exploring and analyzing large data sets to help data-driven decision making. And if you see, as at 2020, 2021, the field of data becomes so rampant, such that in the year 2021, it was described as the sexiest job of the century, and it's been like that ever since. The demand for data analysts, data scientists, and those works related to data is in high demand. So stemming from academia, that's education, health, let's say health, finance, etc. E-commerce, especially e-commerce, that I must include that they use this very, very well. So, and other industries apply data, logistics industries, the rest, they apply data analytics very well to make informed decision and then improve their products. So you see data, we have vast amounts of data around us now. If you stream Netflix, every second, trillions of data are being generated. If you stream YouTube, all those streaming platforms, every second, millions of people are streaming those platforms. And these companies, they get insight from this data to be able to improve their recommendation system. For those who stream YouTube or Netflix, movies are recommended to you based on your previous watch history. Now, how was this done? They use data and make predictive models, and we'll call that recommendations and systems in machine learning. So this algorithm will be able to look through your watch history, the things you've searched for on the platform, the movies you've watched, the ones you spend long hours on, and then know your likes and be able to recommend future movies to you. So all these are powered by data. So we can see here, we can see decision making here. Organizations make informed decisions from data. Let's look at a financial organization. Let's say bank. Bank have data of all the customers that have accounts with them. And through the activity of a particular customer, they can detect if a transaction is fraudulent or not. So we call that credit risk assessment by financial institutions. So imagine I have an account, and all through the 10 years I've been using that account, I've never withdrawn 10 million naira once, and all of a sudden 10 million naira went out of my account. It will raise an alarm, and then they'll begin to make inquiries on that. So those are what data can help. So data is applied in many fields, as we said, in finance and accounting. You can see in business analytics, in fraud detection as a credit card analysis. Credit card analysis. And recent time we've seen all these loan apps rampant now. And how do they give loans to customers? And how do they know which customer is liable to default in loan payment? All these are data. And sometimes you apply for a loan and they'll say, based on your credit history, we can't grant you this loan because they are using data, your financial data over the years to be able to see if you are giving this amount of money, whether you'll be able to pay or not. So healthcare, information technology, insurance, taxation, internal audit, digital forensics, transportation, food, all of these security make use of data in order to make informed decisions. Let's see real life examples of how data have been. Let's see Coca-Cola that we know of. So the Coca-Cola use big data analytics to drive customer retention. Like in the year 2015, Coca-Cola managed to strengthen its data strategy by building a digital-led loyalty program. So according to Forbes article, Coca-Cola was one of the first globally recognized brands outside of the tech sector to embrace big data. So in 2015, for example, they were able to determine that Coca-Cola products were mentioned online once every 2 seconds. Having access to this information help them understand who their customers are, where they live, and what prompts them to discuss the brand. This is the power of data. And many companies are leveraging this to make informed decisions. Netflix, which is very popular streaming platform for movie, is a good example of a big brand that uses big data analytics for targeted advertising. I think I read from an article years back, sorry for that. So I read from an article how Netflix, what they did was that they even put price, inviting all programmers. If any programmer will be able to beat what they had at that time, their recommendation system, the algorithm, if they could develop another algorithm that will be able to beat the current one that they are. So different programmers came and they were building this with data. And you can see over the years, Netflix have become a brand name that everyone talks about because of data. So with over 100 million subscribers, company collects data. Please, if your mic is okay. So with over 100 million subscribers, the company collects huge data, which is the key to achieving the industry status. If you are a subscriber, which I am, you are familiar to how they send you suggestions of the next movie you should watch. All these happen as a result of data recommendation systems. So basically, this is done using your past search and watch data. So the data is used to give them insights on what interests the subscriber most. So let's see, we have different types of data analysis, which we're going to discuss on. We have data mining, business intelligence, statistical analysis, predictive analytics, and text analytics. So we'll not spend much time to go through all of this. So you can get this done or check through Google search each of these ones for their meaning and what each of these entail. But I'll just give a brief explanation on each, just short explanation on them. So for the data mining, let's see what it entails and what we mean by data mining. So data mining, like, is the analysis of large quantities of data to like extract previously unknown or interesting patterns of data. So for this one, you have unknown. So you are extracting information from previously unknown data to see the pattern in the data. So this one mostly involved computer science. This involves the computer science methods and then intersecting with AI, ML, statistics. ML is machine learning, statistics, and databases. Databases, DB. So that's it for the data mining. So the data mining is used to analyze a very large amount of data to extract previously unknown or interesting pattern in data. But for the business intelligence, the business intelligence from the word business intelligence. So it uses techniques and tools for the acquisition and transformation of large amount of unstructured data. And this unstructured data will be business data. So, and this analysis of this unstructured data will give the organization insights into what is happening. The pattern gotten from that data will give them informed decision, so they can make informed decision on what to do with the data. So the goal of the business intelligence data analytics is to allow easy interpretation of large volumes of data to identify new opportunities. So we have business intelligence tools, like if you've heard of the Power BI. So the BI here is the business intelligence. So these tools help to uncover information or insight from unstructured data. Then statistical analysis, we use statistical tools, like we have descriptive statistics or the inferential statistics to make this decision. So the descriptive statistics may include mean, standard deviation for continuous data, or may have frequency percentages for categorical data. And for the inferential statistics, is answering yes or no questions about the data, and you can estimate the numerical characteristics of the data, or you can model the relationship within the data. So all these are the inferential statistics. So under here we have the descriptive statistic and the inferential statistic. Now this predictive analytics uses statistical models in order to make predictions. And for it to make those is the prediction, it has to use historical data. So it makes use of historical data to analyze current trends, and then be able to make forecasts or predictions. Text analytics is getting insights or information from text. We call that text mining. So we are not spending much time on that. So we are focusing on data analysis with Excel, data analytics with Excel. So that's our main focus for today. And because of that, we need to introduce us to what Excel is, and then we'll look at the UI, the user interface of Excel, and now we can use it to analyze data. So I'll be opening my Excel, and then we will start from there. Excel. So this first part is more of me talking, but as we get into the Excel, we will be working on some things together. So I'm sharing my screen to Excel. Can everyone see my screen?
Yes, sir. Is visible.
Yes, we can.
Okay. So for those who don't have Excel on the laptop, you can use Google Sheets. You can use Google Sheets. If you have a Microsoft account and Google account, sorry, Gmail, so you'll be able to have access to Google Sheets. So this is the Excel interface. And the first things you are seeing is the work. This is, you can see here, sheet 1. Everything that you are seeing here is a workbook. So you can look at the workbook as a notebook. Every notebook has pages in it, and you can see sheets of paper that make up a notebook. So this is a workbook, and these are the different pages. You can say the sheets represent the different pages. I'm creating different sheets here. Now we have what we call the ribbon. So this place from here like this. Where's mine? Let me use my pen to do that. Okay. So this place is all called the worksheets. So these are different worksheets. All these are worksheets. So these are worksheets. Now, the entire thing here, where these worksheets are, makes up the workbook. So combining different worksheets together gives us a workbook. Now, this place makes up the ribbon. This place like this makes up what we call the ribbon. So that red line that I just drew, they make up the ribbon. Now you can see these are what we call the tabs. The tabs there. These are the tabs. This is the home tab. This is the insert tab, page layer tab, formula tab, data tab, review tab, view tab, the help tab, ink tab, and so we call that tabs. So, and each of these tabs is divided into different groups. Now, for the home tab, everything you see here are what you have in the home tab. So the home tab is divided into different sections. You can see the font group, the alignment group, the number group, the styles group, the cell group, editing group. If I go to the insert, you see different group: table, illustration, charts, sparkline, etc. The page layout, you see different group: themes, page setup, and the rest. But so you get familiar with each of these tabs because you'll be needing them for your data analytics process. This is the data type. You use this more in your data analytics work. And this is your view, how your page is being set up. Now, the first thing after identifying all these things is to this place here. There's my pen. My pen, okay. Now this, you can see this box as I circled. This is the name box. The name box. So this is where the name of the cell that is being selected shows. Let me do that. So if I click on this cell here, A, you see A, this is cell A1. If I click on here, D5. And how do you name a cell? A cell is named by the intersection of the column and the rows. So this A, B, C, D, E, they make up the column. And so that means the columns are lettered. Then, but the rows are numbered. These are the rows. So this, where this D, that's column D and row 5 meet, is where we have the name of that cell. So that is cell D5. So where this and this meet, this is cell E10. So I remember this is our ribbon. As I said earlier, our ribbon is from here to this place. That's our ribbon. So any question before I proceed? I know majority of us should be familiar with this.
No questions, sir.
Okay, thank you. Okay. So the default name of the Excel file is the book 1. If you've not given it any name, this is the default name here. But if you, so you can, when you click Control S, you'll be able to give it a name. Or you can do that here. You can save it. Then you choose where to save your document. So let me save it here. As my data training. So I've named it. So the name has changed from book 1 to my data training. So this is what we have there. Now, the next thing, I'll be fast about this. Let me go to sheet 1. The first thing that, so let's say, how do we, let me just create some data of These are the columns: name, class. Okay, name, let me say name, salary, date of birth, employment date, then, so let's leave these 3 columns. So first name is, let's say Emmanuel, and let's say the salary is 500,000. This is employment date. Let me say, instead of employment, let's use as occupation. Okay, let me put educator. I know somebody will be saying, I wish educators are paid that amount in Nigeria.
I'm telling you, that's just it.
So we're just prophesying into the future of Nigeria and educational
That's it.
system that they'll be paying such amount. So let's say CAMC salary is that too much? That's 1 million. Engineer. Let's see, James. Software engineer. So let's be a bit biased. So we are doing data analytics. So let's say the data engine. Don't know how much is that. Let's say data analyst. Okay, so let's leave at this 4. Yeah. So this is the data we have. Now, we have what we call cell referencing. And we have 2 types of them, the absolute cell referencing and relative cell referencing. If I click on this, you can see the name here, C5. That's the cell reference. So, and then we use the cell reference in formula. So in Excel, formulas begin with equal sign. So let's say we want to get the total annual pay for this person. So annual salary. So annual payment. So that means we are multiplying this by 12. So since I'm writing a formula, I need to begin with that is, so you can meet your service. Let me see that. Let me meet the person. Okay, I've muted the person. Okay. Since we are writing a formula, we begin with equal sign. You reference the cell. So this is the cell B5. The 500,000 is in cell B5. So instead of just I can just click on it. It will show, and then I multiply it by 12. That is 6 million in a year. So instead of doing this for everybody, what I'll do is I'll fill it up. I'll fill it down. So now, as I'm moving my mouse around this, different kinds of cross is showing. This is one. If I move here, you see a different one. If I come here, a different one. Now, when you want to fill it, bring your cursor to this edge. When you see this type of cross, fill it down. So instead of typing the formula again for everybody, you've done that once. But let's say we increase this person's salary by 5%. So that 5% is that 5% is 5/100. So, but I can change it to percentage. You can see the symbol of percentage here. Just click on percentage. You can see the 5% showing here. So let's say everybody's salary has been increased by 5%. How do we do that? So let's put the 5% increment here. So we'll still write the formula. We'll reference this cell and multiply it by 5. That 5%, this 5%. But that's the increment. So this person's salary, annual salary has been increased by 300,000. I can fill it in. Let's see. Now, what do you notice? What do we notice there? Every other person is 0, 0, 0. What's happening?
That could be that the increment is only for this educator, how will I put it?
For the first person, right?
Yes, for the first person.
Okay, any other person? Let's see.
I think this is where the absolute referencing comes in place.
All right. So when do we do the absolute cell referencing?
Okay, the formula you used didn't apply to.
Okay, I'm listening.
Okay,
So
Mr. Emmanuel, the formula you used didn't really apply to the other people down.
yeah, normally as I feel it's supposed to give me everything for other persons as we did
Yes.
here. But when I did that, every year was 0, 0. So what is happening there? So what we did here, the first one here, we did the relative cell referencing. But for us to be able to take this 5% that we wrote in one cell and then take it across every body here, then we need to do a different type of referencing, and we'll call that the relative, the absolute cell reference. So in the absolute cell reference, we use the dollar sign. So we use the dollar sign in the cell that we want to, the name of that cell that we want to reference. Now let's see. If we open this, you can see the formula on the formula bar. This is what we call the formula bar. You can see the formula here. So how do we ensure that this 5% goes to everybody? Okay, for those who have done it before, how do we do that? Okay. Anybody? For those who have done that. So you have to think, what do you want to push across every cell? Now look at this one. D6 times G5. Look at the next one. D7 times G6. Look at this one. D8 times G7. Now, if you notice, this first one is moving. Let me undo. This is moving. This is D5, D6, D7, and D8. If you are looking at the formula bar, right? And this also is moving, the second part, G4, but that is not supposed to move. Here it's supposed to be G4 again, but we have G5. Here it's supposed to be G4, but we have this is the G4, and it is to be constant across. So how do we do that?
We use a dollar sign just before the G4 on the
Okay, so let's see.
formula bar.
So the short for, you can use F4 easily to bring it. Now let's try this one where we have the dollar sign before G and after G, and let's see what is. And so let's fill it up now. Let's see what is happening. Is this correct based on what we want to achieve?
Yeah, I think so.
Yes.
Okay, we agree that that's correct. Now let's change it from where we place the dollar sign. F4. Now the dollar sign is just between G and 4. And let me fill it up. Do we still have the same results?
Yeah.
When there's 5 if I was the one, I wouldn't have read.
Okay, so let's try another. Let's move the dollars and put it before G. So I'm doing this so that we'll see what is happening and we'll get the idea. Oh, this one we still went back to 0, 0. And so let's analyze each cell. It's still changing. It's still changing. It's still changing. G4. So let's keep that aside. So let's do the last one. So this is the first one. So we have 3 different ways that we can place this. Now, so let's analyze this this absolute cell reference. So to create an absolute cell reference, let me use my, please, if you can, let me mute everyone. Okay. So we can create absolute cell reference. If you want to create that, you place a dollar sign before the column letter and the row number. So we have the column, let's say G and 4. How do they even draw dollar? Like this. Now, this one, what we have here, the absolute same reference, this one will always refer to cell G4. This one will refer to cell G4, regardless of where you copy the formula. It will always refer to cell G4, irrespective of where you are copying the formula. So that's why when we fill it, it makes reference to that cell G4. So G4 remains constant. So the dollar sign is keeping that cell constant. Since we'll place it before here and here, that means this place, the column G and the row 4 are kept constant. Any question? So you can unmute yourself if you want to ask question, or you can send the question on the chat. But what of this one means? So what does this one mean? What does it mean? Let's analyze that. Now, this one, G is locked. That's what it means. G is locked. And 4 is locked. That's what it means. For this one, it is only the 4. That is the row number that is locked. So the row number is locked. So if you copy this formula to another row, the reference to row 4, this row 4 here remains the same. This row 4 here remains the same, but the column reference, which is G, will change. But I'm giving different. What would the dollar sign is here? So what does that? Okay, from this and let me hear from someone.
Okay, from this angle,
Okay.
I would want to say it means the G is locked, whereas the row is not locked.
Yeah, thank you. So the column G is locked, but the row 4 is not locked. So if you copy the formula to another place, maybe to another column, since it's the column that is locked, the reference to column G remains the same, but the reference to the row will change. So that is the idea behind that. So we're just doing this because we'll be needing this for our data analytics. So this is just Excel. We have not entered data analytics. So let's go back to how it's supposed to be. So we say, let's see, can see the G is constant. G is constant. It's just the row that is changing. Let's see. So okay, yeah. So you can see both of them are supposed to be locked. Oh, I didn't feel it. So let me feel it. Can see both of them are locked. So G and 4 are not changing as you copy the formula to different places. So that is for formula. So we can use this to get the total pay in the next year. So we'll add column. So we'll add column this plus this to give us the total now. Okay, having known that, that means each month. So let's calculate the monthly pay now after that increment. That means we are dividing this by 12. So that's 525,000. So that means 25,000 increments every month. That was what we added. But this person, imagine, it was one hundred and 1.05 million, 5.25 million, like that. So depending on the sector you are working, the effect will be large. So any questions so far? So this is,
Yeah, I've got a question.
okay, please.
So are you saying if you press F4, because I don't have my laptop here, so I'm just watching. If you press F4,
Yeah, it will
the
be
absolute, that the
changing it for
dollar
you.
sign, does it come before the row and the column as well? Is it just
Yeah, anytime just press the F4, it will give you the different positioning of the dollar sign.
all right? Thank you.
Okay. So let's say a function. All these can be done with function. So a function is like a built or predefined formula, a built-in formula in Excel. So we have different functions. If you look at this formula, we have the sum function. These are functions for finance. These are the ones that are normally used often. Sum, average, if function. These are functions of finance. You can see all of them. These are logical functions. Some for text. And you'll be using this very well, especially the left, the right, the replace, concatenate, and so this date time function, lookup function, math and trig functions. So this one we did here. So let's get the total salary here. annual salary for everybody. So instead of doing this plus this plus this plus this, we can just directly use function for it, use the sum function. Just type sum. So for the function, the same, to start with equal sign, the name of the function, open a bracket, and then you put the range of the cell. So what do we mean by range of? So the range is, a range is just a group of cells that are following themselves. So this is a range of cell from here. I can then put a column and select the last one. So you can see that I selected the range, close the bracket and enter. So you see the same answer. So that's for the total salary there. But let's see, we can get the average salary by using the average function. So AVE, you can see average here, can double click it, then select the range of cell. I can select like this and then enter. So this is the average salary. I can even get the maximum salary. The maximum salary, I need to use the maximum function here, the max function. Then I can select the range of salary here and enter. So the maximum is this 12,000. I can get the minimum salary there. So I use the minimum function, MIN. You can see it here. Then select the range and click enter. So that's the minimum salary. So we have the if function also. So if, you can see if here, if is a conditional function. So it checks whether a condition is met and returns one value if true and another value if false. So you can see the syntax here, the logical test first, the value if true and value if false. So let's say let's see the, if the is greater than, let's print 5,000. This is around 500,000. So what if we want to get the value that is greater than 5,000? The salary of those that, so okay, let me not put it there. Let me bring it side to this place. Yeah. So start with the if. So the logical say, let's say, so if this is greater than 500,000. So what value? What do you want it to return if this is true? That's what will be in the next place. So what do we want? Let's say, should we say well paid? Well paid. Living well. What will I even put? Good. Okay, let me just say good. And then if it is false, what should you return? Bad. So let me say bad.
4.
All right. Okay. So let me put, okay, you can see it return good because this is 600,000. Wait, did I use annual pay? Supposed to use this. Everybody will be good here. So let's change that condition. Let's say, let me change here to that's B. Okay, let's enter. So you can see it is poor because this 500,000 is not greater than 500. But everyone will be rich, good. I didn't change it to poor. I thought I, okay, yeah, good. That was the syntax there. So any question so far? So we have the nested if what you want to do is the conditions are many. So you can nest the if, like especially if you want to assign grades to students. So maybe students that have 50 to 60 is C5 and 60 to 64, let's say 6, like that, different grade levels. So you use the nested if. So that means if inside if is all called the nested if. So let's do example of that. Let's assign grades. Let me call them student A. Let me just put different grades. 50, 45, 60, 55, 78, 80. So let's say this is what we have. So let's assign grades to this. So let's say we are going to use the nested if now. So let's say A1, if your score is greater than 90. So A1, if your score is greater than or equals to 90, that's A1. No, sorry. The name of the cell. Yeah. So this is if the value in cell B18 is greater than 90. So let's assign A1 to it. A1 to it. So this is not one. Then we'll move to the next condition. So you need to introduce another if and open your brackets. That's the second if. So let's see, pick the same. So if it is greater than or equals to, let's say 80, so the grade should be let me say, should you give it B? Let's say B. Right. So move to the next if. Select the cell again. If it is greater than or equals to 70. So let's say the grade is C. So that move to the next if. If it is, select the cell, this same cell. It is greater than 60 now, right? Greater than or equals to 60. Is equals 60. Let's call it D. So let's do the last if it is so since anything greater than 50 should be F, so we don't need to do that. Let's just put F like this. So how many ifs do we have? 1, 2, 3, 4. That means we'll close it with 4 brackets. You can see at 45 here is F. Let's fill it down. Let's see if that follows our rule. 60 is D, 54 is less than. So is this following the rule? Okay. Okay, yeah. Anything less than 60 is F, so it's correct. Anything less than 60 is D. D or less than 50. 60 will still be this. So to avoid that, let's just put that 50. Let's select the cell, sorry. If select the cell greater than or equals to 50. Let me call it. And then should I put it, let me call it F, no, E. And then let me call if this is greater than or greater than or is equals to What? G. So let me fill it. 34 is false, but we didn't give a condition for it. So let's give that condition. F. Yeah, it's now correct. Okay, so that is the nested if that we're doing. Now, another important tools that you need in data is tables. Tables, and the table that we'll be looking at is the pivot table. So I'll be opening an Excel file that I've downloaded, and that's the last thing. That's where the beauty of data analytics will begin from. And then we'll check that data. Okay, I believe you can all see my screen now. Okay. Yeah, so this is what we'll be doing the next class. So we'll go and work on what we've done today. So next class, this is when our data analytics work will start. We can see this data set contains large amount of data. So we'll start with pivot table, using it to analyze and get information, summary of the data. And that's what we'll be working on next week. For those who still want to get a hold on the fundamental of Excel, there is this corporate finance institute. I will share my video to that place. I believe you can see the screen. Their course is very rich.
Let's review what we're going to cover in this section.
On that Excel fundamental, so you can check the corporate financing,
formatting, and how to make sure that everything is off.
fundamentals of Excel. It's very, very rich. How you can
Within Excel options, now let's click on the formulas area. There are some important.
So I'll send the link on the platform, and then we can check that. So next week, we are going into the full data analytics with Excel. So, and we are beginning with pivot table. And I will send this data that I uploaded to my Excel to everyone on the group before the class starts, because that's what so everyone will be working on that Excel file next week. And so this is where we're going to conclude today's class, so that we will have time to do other things. So I'll entertain questions. Okay, so any question? Okay, so in the absence of any question, I think this is where we end the class for today. So next week, Saturday, we are working on the Excel file, and that is where you see the beauty of data. Yeah, our session is from 7 to 8:30.
Okay, next week. Today you said, right? Not Friday, right?
Yeah, Friday, not Saturday, sorry. It's Friday, every
Okay.
Friday.
Okay, thank you so much, sir.
All right, thank you, everyone. So we'll come back next week, Friday, 7:30 to 8:30. 7 o'clock to 8:30. That's 1 hour, 30 minutes class.
Have a good night rest, sir. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Good night, everyone.
Good night, sir. Sir, you can as well help us share the recorded video.
Definitely, I'll do that.
Okay, thank you so much, sir.